Hey guys, I decided to do a little apple crisp today because our apple tree has beautiful, gorgeous apples. So, you start with about 10 or 11 cups of fresh apples. You cut them up, and I've kind of diced them. You definitely want to take the skin off because you don't know what the flavor is going to be. So, once I've taken all the skin off, I just kind of chop them up. You want to try and get them fairly consistent. I'm not Food Network. If I were, they'd be perfectly sliced and they'd be all the exact same size. So once that's done, I start to measure them out, and the apple crisp calls for about 10 to 11 cups of fresh apples. So I've already started to chop them up, so I would say in my little bowl I've probably got, I don't know, maybe 5 cups. I'm kind of a generous baker, so if it says 5 cups here, I call that maybe let's call that 2 cups. So now I've got 2, 4, I'll call that 6 cups. And then what I like to do, my recipe doesn't call for it, but I like to add some cinnamon, which I've already done. So maybe, I don't know, I don't measure. Again, maybe a couple teaspoons. I take some fresh nutmeg. I get my little microplaner. I grate a little bit on top. This has already been done, so I'm not going to put too much more into it. And then I let that sit. I also added just maybe a dash of brown sugar. And what I like to use, honestly, because some people have issues with sugar, is I like to use monk fruit. So let me grab that really quick, which is monk fruit sweetener. And so now I'm going to throw that on top. I would measure, but I'm not going to. And I'll tell you the exact measurements in the recipe to follow. Just throw some monk fruit sugar on top and let this sit. And let this sit, so I kind of do it in stages while I'm making my dessert. Because what this is going to do is it's going to create this wonderful little sugar sauce. I also sprinkled a little bit of brown sugar in here. And then what you're going to use is a lemon. And it calls for about a teaspoon, I believe, of lemon, and I'll write this down in the recipe, per cup of fruit, which is a couple tablespoons. So at the end of the day, what I just usually do is I start with about half a lemon. And I just squeeze it in there. Make sure you don't get the seeds in, but if they do, it's not going to kill anybody. And that also adds to the acidity. The other little trick that I use is I add just a dash of salt. And then we'll start working on the crumble. See you soon.